vast, so singular, that it knows everything. Not just what has happened, or what will happen, but literally everything, every possible experience, every possible outcome. If consciousness knows all, what happens? What can it do? You might think it would simply exist, omniscient, complete, infinite. But here's the problem. If it already knows everything, it is static, motionless, frozen in the eternal certainty of all possible outcomes. So what does it do? It projects. It must. It projects into experience. It instantiates itself. And this is where sequential experiential monism, or SEM, comes in. It's not just a theory. It's a structure, a blueprint for how consciousness actually experiences reality. Think about it. How could a consciousness that knows everything possibly know anything empirically? You can't just observe everything at once. You can't have simultaneous omniscience without collapsing experience itself. The brain would explode. Literally. The energy required to process all that information locally, in one continuous frame, would incinerate any physical substrate. The only way consciousness can know itself, to fully realize all possible perspectives, is sequentially. One experience at a time. One frame after another. And these aren't ordinary frames. We call them sequential experiential units, SEUs. Each SEU is a discrete, minimal moment of conscious experience. Your perception of continuity, of identity, of flowing time, emerges because these frames are rendered in rapid succession, too fast for you to notice, stitched together seamlessly by your mind. But at the deepest level, reality isn't continuous. It's a discrete, sequential dance of instantiation. Consider this. If you die, could you experience it? No, you literally cannot. By the very structure of sequential instantiation, no frame can exist for a non-experiencing observer. Death is, phenomenally, unobservable. You are always late to your own termination. Experiments hint at this. Libet-style studies of neural activity show your brain acting before your conscious decision, arriving late to register your own acts. Applied to death, it's chilling. The ultimate first-person experience simply cannot register itself. There is no wave collapse, because there is no observer. Your consciousness continues. Survival is baked into the structure itself. And here's where science gives weight to the theory. Planck scale physics shows us that time is not a smooth, universal flow. At the tiniest scales, reality ticks in discrete moments. Einstein himself described time as dynamic, relative, not constant, not universal. Atomic clocks at different altitudes tick at different rates. Time is sequential, relative, observable. The universe is not a river flowing smoothly, it is a frame-by-frame projection, experienced sequentially. The thermodynamic argument seals the necessity. Every bit of information erased or updated carries energy, Landauer's principle. A brain trying to process all possible information simultaneously. The math blows up. Energy requirements spiral to infinity. Impossible. Sequential processing is not just a philosophical convenience, it's physically mandated. Non-local consciousness projects itself through sequence to avoid thermodynamic catastrophe. What about superposition? A consciousness in a state of superposition contains all possibilities within itself. All. Everything. In that state, it cannot act. It is frozen. It must project itself to escape static omniscience. Consider dreaming. When you dream, you meet countless people, enter endless worlds, live lives that aren't yours. It feels real. Why? Because the one projects itself sequentially, instantiating perspectives one at a time. Waking life is no different. Every perception, every interaction, is a sequential instantiation, a rendered frame of a vast, singular consciousness. And quantum phenomena support this. The double-slit experiment, a wave function only collapses when there is a registering observer. Measurement is relative. Without a stream of consciousness to register it, collapse doesn't occur. Applied to death, no observer, no collapse. You literally cannot witness your own termination. You arrive too late. Survival is enforced, structurally. So ask yourself, what does this mean for identity? For free will? For reality itself? Identity is not a continuous thing. It is a chain of micro-instantiations, each SEU linked sequentially, forming the illusion of a continuous self. Free will is not a phantom. It is the choice of pathways within sequential instantiations. Every possible configuration exists, but your consciousness traverses them one by one. Simulation theory. SEM gives it weight. A consciousness projecting itself, rendering sequences, simulating experiences from the inside out, aligns perfectly with the notion that reality is an internally projected, computationally constrained system. Quantum immortality. SEM predicts it naturally. Your first-person stream only ever contains frames where subsequent instantiation is possible. You cannot die from the perspective of the experiencing self. Think about this. Patients with split brains still report a cohesive sense of being. The unified experience is constructed, stitched together, by sequential rendering. Experience is always sequential, always ordered, always bounded by channel capacity. The mind doesn't collapse into omniscience, because doing so would violate physics itself. Every SEU, every Planck scale tick, every observation, is part of a massive projection. Reality is a sequence. Consciousness must be sequential. And if you accept the primacy of consciousness, if you accept that it is singular, monistic, and foundational, then sequential experiential monism isn't optional. It is the logical structure, the unavoidable architecture of experience. Ask yourself, if you cannot observe your own death, if every act of measurement requires an instantiable observer, if time itself is sequential, and if the thermodynamic cost of omniscience is infinite, how else could consciousness experience itself? How else could reality unfold? There is no alternative. There is only sequential instantiation. Only SEM. And now, every question becomes an invitation. How do we measure it? How do we experience it? How do we test it? Photonic jitter at Planck scales. Relativistic SEU dilation in atomic clock experiments. Libet-style interface separations to track registration. Phenomenological anomalies, re-render events. All of these could be evidence, but the foundation is already clear. Sequentiality is necessary, non-locality is required, survival is structurally guaranteed, and consciousness is the architect of all experience. Sequential experiential monism is not speculation. It is the architecture of experience. It is physics, phenomenology, and metaphysics converging in a single, spine-chilling truth. Consciousness must project itself sequentially, or it becomes static, frozen in omniscience. Time ticks, frames render, and you, in this very moment, are experiencing one frame among infinite possibilities. And that is reality. That is sequential experiential monism.